Thank you, Chase. So everybody up to today? It's quite a nice day today. So yeah, anyone enjoying this weather at the moment? Thank you for the likes, teacher. Hi, INFJ. How you doing? Hope you're well. So I'm using the other phone because it's just my other phone was having some issues. So yeah, but that's good to hear then that you're doing well. So hopefully you're getting some good weather as well. But so I don't know if you saw the last video that I did on TikTok. It was about my plans to travel and stuff. So sun is shining. Reminds me of that was it Bob Marley song or something? Anyway, yeah. So like that's the thing. So I've like kind of seen if anyone would put me up for a night or something. So yeah, I've had a few people that have like said that they would. So that's already well, that's fine. That's good then. So I was looking into some like different teas and different health benefits. Like yeah, basically yeah, but using like my community to help with that because if I want to go traveling and do some like touring around, then it's like it can be quite expensive trying to get accommodation. So if I can get like some people to put me up, then that kind of takes that issue away pretty much. So yeah, because it would otherwise be very expensive. So would I even make enough money to even cover the costs of it all? If so, then what would be the point? But I suppose traveling can be fun anyway. It's just you get to see different places and stuff. So it'd be great to experience places I haven't been before. So yeah. So what's everybody doing? It's very quiet. So anyway, let's see what happens in here. Right? See who shows up. You never know what you're gonna get, really. It's like life is like a box of chocolates. You know what I mean? So that friggin' Forrest Gump in it. Hello, Haley. Yeah, how you doing, Haley? Nice day. So, yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've had a few offers. Yeah, I had some on the video, and yeah, I've had a few offers. What's that? Oh yeah, it's Paddy. Yeah, it's Saint Paddy's Day today, isn't it? Yeah, 17th of March. Yeah, yeah. Happy Saint Patrick's Day, isn't it? Yeah. I'll tell you something. Like I was being a bit stupid yesterday, right? But there's somebody called. How you doing, Quagmire? All right. What do you talk about? Anything really? Hello, Chris. How you doing? Yeah, yeah. I've changed it up now. Yeah, I got kind of sick of it, like getting long, so I just trimmed it down to stubble. Um, oh, you're going for a walk soon? Yeah, it'd be a good day for it, won't it? Oh, you're out Saturday, yeah. All right. All right. Hello, What is it? ARN. How are you doing today? Hello, sweetie PT. Sorry, I don't understand that. Um, Hope everyone's having a good day so far. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, follow, anything like that. That'd be great. So, yeah, what are your plans for the summer, everybody? Yeah, got to get your steps in, haven't you? You know. Yeah, they say 10,000 steps a day on average. You should get really tired. Thanks. So, what about you? I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I was just going to talk about something stupid I did yesterday. I was at this group and there was this guy called Mario, and you know what I did? I went, "It's a me, Mario." Um, Someone weren't too pleased about that, but it's like it's just what I do sometimes. It's just funny. It's called Mario. I was like, "It's a me, Mario." Thank you for the follow, ARN. It's like I just say what comes to my head, Hello, Ratu. So I'm not meaning any harm or anything. I'm just gonna, I just say like the first thing that comes to my head a lot of the time. It's almost like a form of Tourette's in a sense, isn't it? It's just like you're just saying what comes to your head. No, I'm not married. I'm single. Okay. Okay. Anyway, what's everybody up to today? I might have to upload that video on YouTube as well and see if anyone on YouTube is willing to put me up or something. What's that? Netherlands. How you doing? No. My last name's not Oliver. No, it's Brown. No, Jamie Oliver. Yeah. Hi, Dan. I'm all right, thank you. How are you doing? Welcome in, everyone. What's everybody up to today, then? All right. I'll just keep repeating these things. That's how I can, do these voices and stuff. Yeah, you too, AR. Yeah. So I think the problem is with a lot of people is the reason why they get down in life is Shabibi is an alignment issue, you could say. They're not aligned with the right path. Like they might think they are, but then something inside is telling them this ain't the right path for me. Hello, John. How you doing? Hope you're well. Okay, man. I'm all right. Yeah, hope your day's going well. What's that? Chabibi. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day as well. So yeah, we just got to kind of just to really kind of take all the distractions away and figure out what we're actually aligned with. Hello. Okay, let's get rid of the nonsense. Right. Okay. Hello, Miriam. How you doing? I hope you're well today. Hang on, aren't they the same person? Miriam and Chibibi. They've both got the same thing. Let's have a look. Are they the same person? What is going on there? Yeah, it's the same person. Hello, Squirrel. Good to see you. How are you doing today? Hello, love yourself. How are you doing? Yeah, they're the same person. I'm probably going to be starting it as soon as possible. Just trying to figure things out and yeah, just got to figure out what I need to take and stuff like that. And yeah, just kind of psych myself up and then I'm ready. But anyway, what's up, people? I hope you're all well. But you have to find what you're aligned with because you could just be like doing something so long and then you just burn yourself out and you just feel like shit because you just deep down you know that it's not right for you. Sometimes you have to take a step back and figure out what you really want to do. So sometimes it's not that you're tired or anything like that. Sometimes you just, oh, thank you, Miriam. Sometimes it's not that you're tired or anything like that. It's just, or depressed even. I don't know. I'm not able to like diagnose anybody, but sometimes you just kind of, you're not aligned with the right path for you. Like people are told that, what path they should go down. Some, people are told, oh yeah, you should climb the career ladder. And then even if you do climb the ladder, then you've got more responsibilities and you've got more stress. Is it really worth it? I mean, for some people, there might be a small, um, is that word contingent of people? I mean, I think that's the right word, but yeah, of people who, that they actually feel like that's right for them. But I think for most people, like they don't want to be like, climbing up some career ladder their whole life. What for? What exactly? What so they can get a bit more money? But at a certain point, it's like you got to think about what you really want out of life. Because the more time and energy you devote to a career, then the less you have for your own life. We only have a finite amount of energy. So if people are giving up their time and their energy, it's not just their time, but their energy in a lot of cases, whether it's mental or physical, to some corporation. And it's like, well, do you really want to do that? And then just end up, because a lot of people that they come home and then they don't even really have much energy for anything else. So even if they have a bit of time, they just don't even have the energy to pursue other things in life. So they come off from work and then they got a couple of hours of spare time, and then it's like, well, but then they're just probably just gonna do nothing. It's like, what kind of life is that? I mean, some people are happy with that, I guess, if the job fulfills them or whatever. But for most people, it's like it's not for them necessarily, and it's like if you're not aligned with that, then you have to find what your true calling is. Otherwise, you don't want to get to a point in life where you're, yeah, love yourself, yeah, yeah. You don't want to get to a point in life where you like look back and you're like, oh, I wish I'd have done that. I wish I'd have done that. Because you might be at a point where it's too late. You might not be able to do it anymore. You might be getting old. What if you're saying your 60s, 70s, and you're starting to get older? All those things you wish you'd have done, when you were younger. Well, people just, chasing the money or whatever and chasing the status, but sometimes they never even get there, even if they put everything on the line for a corporation that doesn't give a fuck about them, you know? Like we have to just take a step back and think, what is it that we really want? And is it worth all of the sacrifice? I know some people are stuck or feel stuck in certain situations. They might feel stuck in a certain job because they don't feel like they have an alternative. But um, we have to just find what is it really here for. For some people, they want to leave a legacy behind. They want to do something more meaningful. I'm not saying everyone has to leave a legacy behind. Not everybody can, but there is different paths for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And someone telling someone that, oh, well, you should do this, or you should do that. Well, that's their idea of, what makes them feel fulfilled or whatever. But I don't tend to really trust people when they give out a lot of blanket statements and things like, and as well as just kind of very generalized sort of statements, like trying to kind of say this is the way for everybody. Like, I wouldn't say that, you know. Anyway, that reminds me of something Jim Carrey said. His father was an accountant, but he decided that wasn't for him. He said you can try at something you don't like and end up failing at it anyway. Yeah, that's the absurd thing, is that you would spend your time doing something you really don't like and still not succeed in it anyway. It's like these people that get into drop shipping. I doubt that many of them really have a passion for drop shipping. Like it would just be quite a lot of stress and a lot of just soul sucking bullshit. And a lot of them just end up not making it because it's an oversaturated niche. So it's like they're competing in something that they're likely to probably never succeed in unless they get really lucky, or they have certain connections, which is a lot of that's luck as well. But hello, I'm in loves Jesus. Okay, thank you. Basically, you should just do what makes you happy. It's that simple. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that people get caught up in um keeping up with the Joneses or whatever, but then even that's not going to probably make you happy. People think that's going to make them happy, but they're trying to make other people happy, but then feeling unfulfilled. But it's like, why do you got to question, why is it that I need to keep up with these people? You have to kind of like peel back those layers, if you will. Oh, thank you, Owen. Goku. Let's go away. What is wrong with these people? It's probably just trying to get a reaction or something. I got paid to play in the trees all day. I love it. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, overthinking can be difficult for some people, though. But one of the things can be like nature can help with that, I think, in some cases. I don't have any religion. Anyway, if anyone's new here, hit follow, hit subscribe. That would be really appreciated. So, yeah, so we have to just, do what it is that makes us happy. But I know, like, some people say that the goal isn't to be happy, but I disagree, because what is the point if we're not happy? Like, if we're not feeling positive, then why do we even bother doing anything? Now, yeah, you could say, well, we work out and we feel, some kind of discomfort, but then it's like, but ultimately you feel good from that. I mean, over time you feel better. Like you break through that kind of uncomfortable part of it, and then you start feeling better. I had zero appetite today after meds. I reckon I'll be down 3 to 4 dress sizes by this time next year, potentially. Yeah. I don't know who that is, Ash. No, I don't really follow the war stuff, because I'm like, well, there's nothing I can really do about any of that stuff. I can't really do anything about any of that. So why would I, give it all my attention? So I've kind of come to that conclusion that there's just no point in me giving it any attention. Like, I can't do anything about it, can I? So this is the thing of like philosophy that I have is focus on what you can control, not what you can't. So all this, I've kind of come off the whole political, discussions or whatever. It just gets a bit ridiculous. People arguing over politics, but then nothing ever changes. Thank you for sharing that. I look like Andrew Tate, really. Should have gone to Specsavers. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Keep the chat flowing. Yeah. We have to change the world, but it's like, well, I can't do it, or can I? Why would I give all that stuff my attention? It's just negative shit. We should all be trying to, we should all really be trying to just raise our vibrations and stuff and just stop giving all that negative stuff our attention. Like by giving it our attention, we are giving it energy. Hello, Michael. How you doing? I hope you're well. Indeed, nobody asked the canon fodder whether or not war should be declared. Smedley Butler, in his book War is a Racket, suggested a referendum be held consisting of those who are expected to fight. He also said that war should only be for national defense purposes. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for the heart me mischief. Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Like the defense thing, instead of it being some offensive thing where they're going fighting other people's wars and stuff like that. Like, in my opinion, that should just not be happening. And I just have no interest in getting involved in other people's wars. But there was someone saying about how, like, basically these people are supposed to be these really macho men, but yet they go into the military and then there's somebody else's bitch. You know what I mean? They're taking orders from somebody else. That isn't that the most kind of emasculating thing that, they're just taking all these orders and sometimes even take orders that they don't even agree with. I remember someone was saying that like they ended up coming out of I can't remember who it was, but someone said that they come out of the army because they wouldn't take any of these orders anymore because it was unethical. And so you're not allowed to question the orders that you're being given. You either go along with it or you just kind of kicked out of that. So it turns you into a kind of submissive, kind of, if you will, beta male, which is ironic because they think they're so alpha and all that. And yeah, I understand that it can give you discipline, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, the thing is that discipline in the wrong thing is kind of like, yeah. It's like you're somebody else's bitch then, aren't you? It's like it's not like discipline that you've given yourself, but rather you're relying on somebody else to like tell you what to do. Isn't that some submissive shit? But so yeah, so it's like, yeah, they might be tough in a sort of like physical sense and whatever, and even you could say in a like mental toughness in certain situations, but you could say a lot of that's been forced on them by some military or something, and then instead of it being something that they go through their own experiences. I think as men, we should be trying to just find our own path in life. Well, everybody should be actually, but I mean, but my point is that like men are, like basically like who are going out to these wars, and it's like, but then someone's response to that was, well, they're fighting for their country. Are they really though? That's the thing. That sounds like some brainwashing bullshit. You know, it's just submissive bullshit. It's I don't know. That's my opinion, and everyone's going to have their own opinion on that. There's people who've veterans and whatever who've been fighting in wars, and you know, yeah. I mean, but it's like I don't know. It's just that they don't question the authorities. They're just the point is that they don't have to. They can just fuck them off if they really wanted to. It's the fact that people will just kind of willingly be submissive, like that these so-called alpha males or whatever that become submissive to a um well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like unless it was something really serious, then like I wouldn't want to be getting involved. But it's like what should young men do who are threatened with jail time if they don't join the military conscription? I don't know. I never really thought about that, but what are your thoughts on that? Hello, Red Bull Princess. Good to see you. How you doing? Yeah, so you on someone else's live. Yeah, so like you could say everyone's somebody else's bitch to some degree. I don't know. You do that, Ian. You're always just trying to be negative and all that. Just what's wrong with you? Well, what's wrong with some people, eh? Hello, Marshallette. How you doing? Hope you're well today. Like there was people who were like trying to dodge the whole kind of Vietnam War thing or something, and they were trying to like force them to go to war or something. But the ones that decided to try and avoid it, they were like the rebels and all that. It's like the people who you could say the ones that didn't really go along with the government orders and shit like that back in 2020, for example, that they're not going to be submissive and take a bunch of bullshit. There were mass protests and draft dodging during the Vietnam War. Indeed, Clinton moved to Canada to dodge the draft, but ended up becoming president. Dick Cheney um, also was a draft dodger. Yeah, it's like one rule for me and another for thee, sort of thing, isn't it? Hello, Preston Conroy. How you doing? Hope you're well today. Nice to meet you all. Hi, whoever's just joined. Welcome in. So what would you guys do if you was like drafted or something? I didn't get the submissive V. Yeah, I didn't do that. But some people felt like they had no choice, like they were threatened with their jobs and stuff. But it's like, for some people though, it's like their principles, they hold them in higher regard than their job or whatever, because to them it's like they believe in, sort of that their principles of they will not be coerced. Thank you for the follow in the like they were trying to make out like, oh, it's a free choice and all that, and it's like a bit of stubble. As you can see, I still got a bit of stubble on my face, but it's you know, I just try and trim it down to a stubble, so I don't completely shave it off. But yeah, I'll make sure none of my sons and daughters never fight for Stormy. You know, that's the thing is that are they fighting for the country? Are they fighting for the government? Are they fighting for corporations? Because I think it's more of that really. That's you know because unless it, like I said, unless it's for defense or whatever, then what's the point? Okay, I'm just gonna like get rid of the nonsense anyway. But the thing is that I don't know. It could just be like the NPCs and stuff, and like people just kind of become like robots who just do whatever they're told. They don't think about whether it's right or not. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? But you've got to figure out some way of like some alternative, I guess. How you doing, Anik? Oh, really? Okay, welcome, welcome in. So, yeah, it's like you have to figure out, like, okay, well, what can I do to stay afloat if, say, because some people they have certain commitments, like they might have a family that they have to feed, or room that they have to pay, house that they have to pay for, or something. They might have a mortgage to pay for, and they're like worried about losing all of that. So in that case, it's like you have to figure out like what can you do instead if you was to lose that job because of they were trying to like bribe you or something. Then it's time to kind of look at alternative income streams and stuff. And there is stuff out there. I mean, it's possible to find alternative streams that to tide you over at least anyway. So you should never fear if you're being threatened with your job, because that is when they've got you by the short and curlies, shall we say, that's when they've really got you by the balls. When you think that if they kick you out, then that you're going to end up on the streets or something. They want you to think that. They want you to think that you're dependent on them, when really they're dependent on you, at least for the time being, until they've, fully automated everything. So like until they've automated everything, until everything's robots, then an AI, then they still need their drone work slaves. Yeah. Well, that's right, and that one person could, support a family, but not anymore. So it's like, yeah, slavery. Some say like slavery never really died. Hello, Hibye. How you doing? Hope you're well. If anyone's new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. It's like slavery never really went away, did it? I mean, it's just we now have it where you have to pay to live, and in order to pay to live, you have to do something. So whereas at one time you would have worked on some farm or whatever, you would have been a peasant or whatever. And in fact, I think they found that peasants were actually, in some ways, better off than some of the people, like some of the lower income people of today. In fact, some of them only worked like half the year and they had half the year off because, well, because they weren't able to like work in winter time and stuff like that. So like they would, and yeah, sometimes it would work, really long days and all that. But like overall, like didn't sound like it was. I mean, yeah, there was some bad things about it. Obviously, there was peasants' revolt. Obviously, there was some, but it's like nowadays you've got people working in some cases 60 plus hours a week. I remember there was a bus driver. I think he said that he worked 60 hours a week just to get a decent living, which is sad, really, that they'd be working all that time just just to be able to make a decent living. But then it's like, well, how much time have they got left over after all that? Um, in prisons, a lot of them end up being thrown in prison. Like a lot of, yeah, like, unconquerable. How you doing? So like forced to do stuff in prison then or something. But it's like they're being put in prison because of some kind of, it's usually because of fault of the system in the first place. Like the reason why there's drugs or whatever, it's like, well, clearly there's something failing in the system. So maybe that should be tackled rather than, yeah, instead of focusing so much on the, like, what is it, the punishment, instead focus on prevention through like mental health and whatever other things that are necessary. But yeah, thank you, Reluctant. Okay, let's get rid of the nonsense, shall we? I don't know why these people keep doing that, but okay, about physics, what's that then? Okay, go ahead. All right. Is everybody okay today then? Hmm. All right. Keep the chat flowing, everybody. Hi, Emmy. How you doing? Hope you're well today. I should probably be doing a workout later at some point. Hello, Never Under Pressure. How you doing? Larkin Rose says that criminalization of drugs is foolish when considering that the government can't even keep drugs out of their own prisons. The prisoners have no privacy rights. Have the hang on, some more or something. Thank you for the follow, Nick. How you doing? Hope you're well. Welcome to my live, everybody. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's just kind of ridiculous. It's like, well, trying to criminalize drugs, but then they have drugs in the prisons. It's like, make it make sense. Whereabouts accounted for at all times. They can be searched for no reason, and yet drugs are still found in prisons. Yeah, it's just so how is that happening then? If they're having like all this security, then how is it that that's somehow, you know, off the radar or something? I mean, is it being intentionally allowed or what? Or even encouraged? I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I've never been in one of those places. But yeah, it's well, there's this whole thing of like, if they ban drugs, then people then find legal highs, and I remember there were some of these legal highs that were a lot worse for you than illegal highs because they got away with it because it would say on it not fit for human consumption or something because it would maybe it had another purpose or something and it was sold for that, but then people would misuse its purpose. But then it's like, well, maybe the companies that make those products shouldn't be making it to have some kind of drug-like effect. Hello, Cats One, how you doing? Corrupt prison guards who want to increase their pay is one source of the drugs in prisons. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That they can get bribed to get drugs and stuff. So that's the thing. It's like police officers; they can get bribed often. If you, in some cases, if you've got enough money, then you. That's the thing of why it's unfair with like, um, how like like rich people and how they can just get away with all kinds of stuff. They can just bribe the police or whatever, and you know what I mean. Welcome in, everybody. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? This whole system is corrupt. It's like even like the health industry and all that, and like the pharmaceutical companies and yeah, alcohol. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you doing, Veronica? Anyway, so yeah, they will never ban cigarettes, though, will they? I think we are talking about that before about how why is it that they won't ban cigarettes, but yet they'll kind of ban weed. Well, a part of it I would say is because they can't tax weed, you know, because it grows and like you can people can grow it in like their attics and stuff. So how the hell would they be able to tax all of that? People can do like like cash in hand sort of deals and whatever, If I'm toying with a rope and it breaks at 800 kilogram load, why does the female strength double by looping around low to double the rope? I don't know. I don't know anything about that really. Um, is this something you know the answer to, or is it you're asking me because you don't know or something, or like what's the anyway? Hello, Klaus. How you doing? Hope you well. Thank you for the likes. Weed that is sold in New Jersey dispensary doesn't have seeds. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about these GMO crops and stuff like that, and how they don't produce seeds. They call them Terminator seeds or something, or whatever it is that they can, that's why how they can just keep selling them. Because then, if they don't produce seeds, then it's eventually they will basically be the only ones that have access to like the ability to keep reproducing them. So they could basically have a monopoly on uh, on seeds, and that would be scary if it could get to that point where a lot of these things end up. But I doubt it would ever get totally to that point, because there would be people who could have their own. But that's what some people were suggesting could happen, on monopoly on seeds or something. But oh yeah, Santa Claus. I was thinking about that. Yeah, like Klaus. I was thinking Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum guy. Ask you because I can't get to sleep. But yeah, I don't know the answer. I mean, I don't know what do you even mean like that anyway. But so yeah, but there'll always be people who grow their own vegetables and stuff, and grow it with their own seeds that keep reproducing or something. That's Klaus is short for Nicholas, and Santa is known as Saint Nicholas. Yeah, yeah, that's right. He was green. Yeah, before Coca-Cola changed the color, wasn't it, to red? So it's mad how Coca-Cola's had such a big effect on things, hasn't it? The Santa that we know today is like the opposite color. It's literally the opposite color. Green and red are actually like polar opposite colors on the spectrum. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they make drugs illegal in Australia because it will cost them less money if they don't have to police the effects that the drug has on the community. Hmm. I mean, but you could argue about a lot of things have effects on the community, like alcohol, and there's a lot of things that you could argue have a greater effect on community than some of these drugs. I mean, yeah, there is some really bad ones like you know meth and whatever, like heroin or whatever kind of shit. There's some really bad drugs out there. Thank you for the follow, Klaus. Hello, Walid. Nah. I mean, like that. I mean, some say it's like evolution or something, but that just came about through natural selection and all that. Now, everyone can like have their own opinion on that. Find drugs in any major city in Australia within a few hours. Oh, there is that. It's a bullshit argument because we should have sovereignty over our own body and consciousness, and they already have laws in place for anything that people could do while under the influence. Yeah. If someone gets messed up and steals a car, we already have laws for that. Why is meth illegal? Yeah, no, it's like. So what you're saying is that we already have laws that ban certain things. And what you're saying is that if people misuse drugs, then they get like, if things happen, then it's like, for example, drink driving. You're saying how it's like, well, we don't need to ban alcohol, but we ban drink driving, for example, or we could ban, like say, yeah, it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's But I don't think that people should be taking meth or any other kind of substances like that, cocaine or whatever bullshit. I mean, it's that shit can be bad for you. I mean, I've heard that cocaine can actually fuck up your nose or something when there's when it keeps snorting. It can actually, I've heard it can do some damage to like the nose. Don't know how true it is, but yeah, I mean, fuck knows what it can do. But they try and gaslight the public, don't they? With like, oh, but it's for your safety. But yet, a lot of the laws that they put in place actually, if anything, in some cases, cause more harm. Yeah, when you hear it's like say, "Oh, it's for your safety," then yeah, it's probably some gaslighting that they're just trying to use that as an excuse to get you to accept some kind of what does a society look like with every drug available for purchase? Well, there is that. Alcohol is like the worst drug, and it is marketed as a good time and legal. Yeah, it's all really like contradicting, isn't it? Hello, Shan. How you doing? Yeah, I'm not a proponent of drug use, but anyone who believes drugs can be kept out of an entire nation when they can't even be kept out of prisons is delusional. Yeah, yeah, you could say if anything that prisons even have more access to it. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, not maybe not more, but they can still be as accessible. So it's like we're kind of like it's like we're kind of like see this problem of like drug use, but then we're approaching it from the wrong, sort of, you know what I mean. Portugal has legalized drugs in some places and reduced a lot of crime, etc. Right. So what are you saying that are you saying that legalizing drugs has reduced a lot of crime, or are you saying is it because some people will do crime in order to access drugs? Why don't they just educate people and let them decide for themselves? Well, yeah, they should. I mean, they did some stuff at school, but it's like maybe there should be more focus on that instead of like. There's a lot of focus in the education system on a lot of bullshit. I think, especially nowadays. Exactly, says James. Yeah, it's harder to regulate drugs with an open border. Hmm. Well, suppose there is that with like you're talking about with like people smuggling stuff in and stuff, doing kind of like what they call it, like money laundering and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of like corrupt shit going on, like black markets and stuff. Like I saw this thing on like a lot of these barber shops and American candy shops that are like um they're like fronts for money laundering. Yeah, smugglers. There's like dodgy shit going on. You've got yeah, people smuggle stuff in and then like sell it on the black markets and stuff. Cannabis should be legalized. Have you ever heard of anyone being in police cells at the weekend because they had a smoke? I know. Uh, Febby, thank you for the rose. I mean, there is some, negatives to like weed, but it's like if we look at like the overall effect that it has, but like alcohol, I would expect is probably going to be far worse. Not just for the person, but the people around them. Like when you're around drunk people, it's just they can be quite hostile, or they can just be causing a lot of nuisance and stuff. So it's not just it's not just the people that take it, but you could say that weed has some effect on other people in some cases, but I would argue it's far less. And the whole scare of fentanyl being laced in black market drugs. Yeah, I've heard that some of that can be really bad, and there was some like, um, over, like, and there was these like ODs as a result of that. There was quite a lot of it in San Francisco. I heard. Um, in fact, I heard that it was actually, if I remember, it was a more likely cause of death during 2020 in some places at certain times than the virus itself. So Amazonia tries use harder drugs in a controlled way and they're fine. Well, you're on about like ayahuasca because yeah, you have to be careful when you're doing shit like that because of the potential. I've heard some instances where if they do it unsupervised, then they could end up, jumping off out their window or something, and something fall off something and end up fatally injured or something. So they have to do it in controlled environments to avoid any of that. So yeah. Yeah, they all come from plants, so it's like that's the thing is that by saying, "Oh, something's from a plant," that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. I remember there was this thing called beetle nut or something it was called, and there were people getting high off it, and I heard it were doing something to like their teeth or something. It was like probably because all the chewing of it or something. But yeah, I remember that they were using it as some kind of yeah, it was it's called areca nut, but some call it the beetle nut. It's a seed of a palm belonging to the areca genus. Um, so yeah, it was they chew it and then they like yeah, it's supposed to be a stimulant drug or something. So but yeah, that was causing some health problems apparently. But so Regna, thank you for like yeah. So just because something's from a plant doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy. Opioids is from poppy seeds and cocaine is from a plant as well. Yeah, yeah, coca leaf, isn't it? Something. Yeah, well, pop is because it's like been a processed sort of product. And weed's actually not really that natural because well, you could say it because they've been selectively, they've selectively bred it for like having more THC basically. Because from what I understand is that they used to have a lot less THC, so they've like artificially increased the THC content of it. So if people want to say, "Oh, it's from a plant," but it's like, well, if it's been tampered with and or whatever, or it's been kind of artificially, selected, then that's kind of like almost like doing genetic modification because you are interfering with the natural process of it. In manufacture, that's the thing. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Giving stimulant drugs to soldiers in World War II. I know that from I remember they were given. There was this MK Ultra experiment where they were testing out like I think was it LSD or something like that or whatever it were, some kind of psychedelic stuff to see its effects and how they can alter someone's mind or something. I don't know too much about it, but basically, you could argue that a lot of the mind control now is from like the TV or the media or whatever, and it's through things like neuro linguistic programming and through on getting you in a certain frequency. Hang on, shit. What the? Why have I left that on the screen? Let's hide that. I don't know. It accidentally just must have clicked on that message or something. Someone was putting something about kind of a bit of a weird message. Selective breeding occurs naturally too, though. For example, sweetest and best tasting fruits are more likely to be eaten by an animal and have the seeds spread. Well, there is that, but then it's like doing things kind of like, like the way that they do it with weed and stuff. I mean, would it have ever, would we have ever had that kind of level of kind of THC naturally in abundance? That's the question. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. So that's the thing is that, but there's this whole appeal to nature fallacy as well. That just because something's, I think you've talked about that before as well. About when people try and argue that, oh well, it's not natural, therefore we shouldn't eat it, or it's natural, therefore we should eat it, kind of thing. But it's not black and white. Like you could argue even cooking food is not really natural because you don't see any other animal cooking their food. So, but in some cases, cooking food can be beneficial in some instances, depending on the food. This is the thing with like the raw food diets and stuff, and that they can be quite deficient in certain things because they would omit certain things from the diet because it would have to be cooked or would be better off being cooked, or they would eat it in the raw state when it should be cooked when it would have more nutrients or something. And yeah, some nutrients can break down when cooking, but in some foods it can actually be better to have them cooked. I think seedless fruits are made by adding a chemical to the seed which makes the plant bear seedless fruits. I prefer seedless watermelons over ones with seeds. I've not seen evidence that seedless reduces the nutrient value of the watermelons. Well, I would argue that you could argue that seeds have nutrients in them that the other parts of it doesn't have or something. So, but I don't know. Hello, Brian Lane. Good to see you. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. I mean, with the seeds, you would have a bit more, perhaps some healthy fats, a bit more protein, perhaps, and stuff. Yeah, I did get a haircut. Yeah. Because I remember they were saying how bananas didn't used to be so much carbs, that used to be a lot more fat because there were a lot more seeds in them and stuff. Who eats watermelon seeds, I guess? Depends on what it is, I guess, because some things, like there's pumpkin seeds, but then, yeah. Oh, yeah, St. Patrick's Day, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is today. That's right. Thank you for the likes, Bongi B. How are you doing today? Yeah, I remember I tried eating seeded grapes and I couldn't even do it. I was like, nah, I just had to spit out the seeds. So it's what's the point then? But they're supposed to be better if you have them seeded. But yeah, nah. I would eat like passion fruit though. Passion fruit can be good, but they're not really cheap though, are they? A lot of these things, like for what you get, it's not really cheap, is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm alright, thank you. What's everybody up to today then? Right, Klaus. One banana is made through grafting the shoots that way they can be seedless. Yeah. Yeah, I spit out grape seeds too. That's why I prefer seedless grapes. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be like crunching down on a little seed really. There's certain things I don't mind, like so I would eat like stuff with like seeded bread actually. I can eat that. You can grow a potato without a potato seed. How's that then? I mean, potatoes need a seed potato, right? Yeah, it is Bongi, yeah. That's my real voice. Some men are seedless. What do you mean? Aren't seedless grapes like a genetically modified thing? I mean, I would have thought so. Veronica, welcome back. Oh, RuneScape. Oh, really? I've never played RuneScape. Thank you for following, Gui. Thank you for the likes, everyone. All right. The potato is the seed. You can allow a potato to grow shoots if you leave it in warm temperature with a water source. Yeah, is it a bit harder to do than just having a seed potato or something? So I've seen a video on planting seed potatoes. You have to buy the seed potatoes and then you just you. I've seen like no dig potatoes where they can like put them in like mulch or something like that and just not have to fuck around digging it up. I've heard it's maybe not as efficient for like produce, but it's like an easier way of doing it though. Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah. So I've heard it. You might not get as much out of it because of I'm from the UK. See what it says about that. Sometimes they don't grow as big or something. Nordic potatoes can produce yields comparable to or even better than dug soil, often with less labor, while they might occasionally be slightly smaller due to shallower planting. The overall harvest is not significantly lower when using adequate mulch. Key factors include using simple compost and, if necessary, extra watering. So, so it's a way of doing it with minimal effort, basically. Hello, Amy, Darren. How you doing? I hope you're well. Edited, bro. How you doing? Yeah, I am. I don't think that gene splicing is involved with making seedless watermelons, or is it not? Not really. Stay tuned now. Um, but yeah, if I had some like land or something or whatever, maybe I would do that. Just kind of grow Nordic potatoes. So you could just even do it in like a friggin'. Even seen a video of someone doing it in an Amazon box. Yeah, they can grow them in any kind of container, pretty much, as long as it's robust enough. But yeah, thank you, Amy. I mean, I wouldn't really necessarily recommend any of that. I think IRL is probably better. I mean, obviously nightclubs, but there's then like for me, like nightclubs and bars. I just kind of see that as like most of the people who meet there, they're not really looking for anything serious. Like I wouldn't think of nightclubs as somewhere to actually meet somebody for anything serious. Like a lot of people are just out there, just having flings and stuff and whatever. Hello, Annie. How you doing? I hope you're well. The process for making GMO corn is much different than making seedless fruits, from what I understand. Okay, fair enough. I was looking into the benefits of like green and red tea. Don't know if you've looked into that, but there might be some benefits to having green tea and that, like, oh, really, Cherry? Yeah, pretty much, Andrea, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, why would anyone go there if they're looking for anything serious? Thank you, Annie. I mean, won't they be weird about it? I mean, I'd just say, like, the best thing is probably to be in some kind of mutual interest group or something. That might be the way to meet people. Anyway, so, yeah. Is everyone all right then? Hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah. Yeah, the passed around. Well, that's one way to put it, yeah. Passed around like a joint. Yeah. I just don't think it's a flex trying to, get your body counts up and whatever, and just for the sake of it. It's like, I think the bigger flex is actually being able to kind of stay with one person for a length of time, because a lot of these people probably couldn't even like hold on to a single person. Nowadays, I'd say that's more of a flex. Or even being single is probably a flex, and just being kind of abstinent. Either of those things is probably more of a flex than just sleeping around with random people. They think it's some achievement. Sleeping with some washed up kind of like, you know what I mean? Uh, it's like, yeah, you really think that's some kind of achievement? Thank you for the likes, loving person. Anyway, same thing with dating sites. Dating these days is messed up. I'd rather meet someone authentically in person and sober. Yeah, exactly. It's like, how can you really find the love of your life when you're just going out and getting drunk and then just kind of being mindless? I don't really understand how that's the best way to like meet somebody, really. People just tend to do it, and then it's like, and then the morning after, it's like they don't even remember anything that happened anyway in a lot of cases because they were drunk. They probably don't even remember who they've slept with or anything. It's just all they remember is that they slept with somebody. They're just racking up numbers. It's like, well, it's like they're just kind of gamifying everything and thinking that as long as they get their numbers up, it's like then that's some kind of achievement, and that they once they get to like their triple digits, it's like what the fuck. They're like crumpets. Yeah, I've had them like a while ago. I haven't had them for a while. I used to like them a bit, but not like the biggest fan. Find some of the like British food can be a bit kind of. Some of it's either bland or it's just really just disgusting. Like some of it I wouldn't even eat because just sounds disgusting. I mean, there is some good stuff, but it's like overall, I feel like British food is kind of overrated. Is it any better than ending up with someone that you went to into school with or lives in your area? What do you mean? You know about like hello Greece here. I think you have to kind of. I mean, you have to be somebody that focuses on themselves and kind of until they're ready to actually settle down and kind of because you have to be that kind of person that isn't like codependent and all that. And if you've got yourself to a certain point in life, then you're not going to be like so desperate. Thank you for the follow, Bell. Sometimes people end up settling for each other, and you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be settling because that's what happens in a lot of cases. They settle for each other instead of it being a genuine kind of, you know, connection. It's settling. 7 to 8 billion people, and what that the person you love the most and that is meant for you is just there or down the road. What do you mean? What are you trying to say? Hello, Stormtrooper. How you doing? Logical and ethical reason to reproduce, please. Otherwise, it's just a selfish act. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I guess you could argue everything's a selfish act to some degree. Even saving somebody's life, even if, say, like you have to risk losing your own life to do that, because you could say that is selfish in a sense that, or well, it's not entirely selfless. No, it's not a Jesus channel now. My friend's partner lived round the corner from her. He was there all along. Hmm. What do you mean? Like, what are you saying that like the why don't they live together or something? I mean, what do you mean? Are they? I'm getting confused. What you're saying that there was somebody that was just happened to live very close to you. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, yeah. Slack pull. That's what I'm doing. Like trying to do the slack pulling with the deadlift, trying to bend the legs more and not just let the hips shoot up. That's what you do with the deadlift. Getting into a rigid um, position, because they say if you don't pull slack out the bar, then the bar will pull slack out of your back. And that can cause a lot of rounding and stuff. Whereas if you pull the slack out the bar, that prevents, or what helps to prevent, because if I'm in this kind of position where I'm kind of doing this and I pull the slack out, like my back is not gonna, like it's a lot harder for it to. Whereas if I'm in this kind of relaxed, kind of like, look, I can just kind of. Whereas if I do this, if you feel it, it's a lot harder to like break form. Basically, pull ups are harder. Yeah, bench depends really, because thing with bench is that yeah, you have longer arms, but you also have a slightly bigger torso, so it might make up for somewhat. I'd say push-ups are gonna be harder as well because of extra body weight. So it's the things that require extra body weight, as in like that's gonna be harder. But yeah, bench, it depends on your limb length versus your how strong your chest is. That's gonna be the determining factor with that. But yeah, the when it comes to the big three, that some of these guys are quite tall who can do quite well with that. So like you look at the say like these strong men, they're doing some quite crazy lifts. So it is possible that what's that? Do you like the state of London right now? It sounds like a mess, really. But hello, London man. How you doing? As of today, the conflict has reached a critical level of escalation following the joint U.S.-Israeli military operation dubbed Operation Lion's Roar in late February 2026. That physical tensions have. Yeah, I don't know. Just like I said, I don't want to really be. I don't know. But like I said, I like to focus on things that I can control or have more control over. It's good to educate people and stuff like that. But yeah, hi Star. Thank you for lights. How have you been? Not seen you for a while. By mental health and physical health. That's what I like to focus on because that's something I have more control over. rather than some wars escalating that are not in my control. Unless we can figure out some kind of solution, but it's just, I don't think it's going to happen though, is it? All we can do is try to kind of, promote more positive thinking. And if everyone started to kind of think like that, then the state would just kind of have less power and less, I mean, but people just like, get caught up in the fear mongering and all the drama and whatever in the media. Yeah, that's true. It's what you're willing to settle for, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, there is that. It's what was that in response to? But yeah, the settling is, you could say that compromise, if you will. Are you talking about in a relationship or something? We've got to find one where you shouldn't really have to compromise that much, I would say. If you're finding that you have to compromise so much, then maybe it's not right. The idea is that you should probably find someone that's not saying they have to be completely aligned with you, but you shouldn't really have to. One, you should not be compromising your principles for a start. Definitely do not compromise that. As soon as someone tries to kind of bend your principles, then I would just fuck that off. You know, if someone tries to kind of bend you to their will, nah, because you have certain boundaries that people cannot cross. But then you're labeled as like, kind of controlling if you have boundaries or something. Someone tries, but then in some cases that it were them that were trying to steer things in the way that they wanted to. And when you didn't want to have anything to do with that, then suddenly you're controlling. Yeah, yeah. But it shouldn't be stigmatized, or the mental health stuff. It should be something that people can feel free to talk about it. Yeah, yeah. All right, Sandeep Hull, how you doing? History has shown that even at the most critical breaking points, common sense and a shared commitment to humanity often act as the emergency brake that prevents a total collapse. The hope is that um, this conflict ends at a negotiation table, not on a battlefield that would leave permanent scars on future generations. Yeah, this is the thing. It's like with the whole climate change stuff. I think that if it really got to that point where it really was getting dangerously, like, as in some people might argue that it already is, but I'm talking about in terms of an actual catastrophe, like we're talking like fucking end of the world type of scenario, that things would have to kind of, sort of like change or something. It's like, yes, I do believe that things can only get so bad. But the fear is like, how much worse would things have to get in certain ways? How worse would the wars and stuff have to get until, like just before total collapse, that's suddenly where people have just had enough. Sounds like Chat GPT. What does? To make leaders think twice before taking extreme measures. Ultimately, peace remains the only rational path forward to safeguard the global economy, and ensure the safety of everyone on this planet. Yeah. Um, Yeah, that's the thing, that protests oftentimes have no effect. Hello, hamster, how you doing? Hello, Frank. Wasn't that the Iraq War had no effect whatsoever? Wasn't there like 1 million people protesting against the Iraq War? But yet nothing happened. It continued to go ahead anyway. Total eclipse of the heart. Wasn't that a song or something? Hello, Luke. How you doing? Who's Lloyd? I'm Lloyd Grossman. I don't know who that is, Frank. A few decades before the global warming panic, there was the upcoming ice age panic. The fearmongers now hedge their bets by saying climate change. Yeah, yeah, because then it's like a plausible deniability thing, you could say, because it's like, well, we weren't saying it's actually warming. We're just saying the climate's changing or something. I don't know. You could say that's the argument, that there's a way to kind of get around that. Oh, it was a Meatloaf song. Yeah, I remember there was like a song called Total Eclipse of the Heart. I don't know, it was Meatloaf. I mean, there was like, is it that one? I know he did a song Bat Out of Hell. And there was another one he did as well. So was it called I'd Do Anything for Love or whatever it was called? But anyway, is everybody okay? Hope you're all having a good day. I might just get off here for a minute, guys. So I will be back. Peptides. Hello, Greg. How you doing? Thank you for like Lynette. I will. That's Postal Copy. Thank you for following. We'll be getting off for a minute, guys, in a sec. But peptides. It's like kind of getting a bit unnatural, isn't it? To me, it's like one of those gateways. Then it's like, okay, testosterone. Then it's like, steroids. Basically, it's kind of how I see it. It's like a gateway into more kind of extreme stuff. Is what I'm worried about, really. Anyway, I'll be back in a sec.